2, 1.
That's the 3, 2, 1.
Yes, that's it.
All right. So we are live right now.
Yes, sir.
All right. Hello. Happy Tuesday, everybody. It's Jonathan Harmon with the J. Harmon Home Team, powered by Keller Williams. And my friend Bill Wilson here is supporting bad habits. So
yeah, we're brought to you by Lucky Lights, bubblegum cigarettes.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Can you believe that? It's sugar, ladies and gentlemen. This is bubble gum. I promise.
Come to the tap room.
Yeah. You know, Bill's got a carton a day habit on this
man.
candy, this bubble gum cigarette, don't you?
It goes with me everywhere. Believe it or not. I have them delivered to me.
Do you really? Wow.
By a case.
Yeah.
But there's a store. There's a C&E Market in Christiana carries them, and so does the BP on Northfield. So I keep when I run out there, I'll go down to BP and buy theirs, and the kids are looking at me like, I want a kid beat it. You know, these are mine.
Yeah, that's right.
I
Teaching
love
you bad habits.
It's about remaining youthful.
Is that what cigarettes are about?
Well,
remaining youthful.
Not quite.
All right, so let me do some business real quick. My friend Bryan Nale over at First Horizon Mortgage is the underwriter for this podcast. So thank you, Brian. We love Brian. You know Brian? Do you know him very well, Bill?
I do.
He's
a great guy.
He's a good dude. Yep, he's one of my favorites. So anyway, if you need a mortgage, hit up our friend Bryan Nale. Now, I figure we got 30 to 45 minutes together.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, there we are.
Yeah, there we are.
I'm going to make sure I'm not banned from Facebook.
What I'm going to try to do is try to keep up with you a little bit, because that's a challenge sometimes, you know?
People have said, you can ask John Jones, that sometimes dealing with me is like herding cats.
Yeah, but you're just
you
one
just
of you.
Can't do it.
You still got to herd an entire herd of cats in one person. It's crazy.
I don't know why. I've always had a lot of energy. I'm one of 4 kids. I'm a middle child. I don't know if you're a only child or a middle child.
I'm an oldest.
You're the oldest?
I'm an oldest.
I'm not cutting your siblings down, but the oldest are usually the more mature, do better. I've got an older sister and an older brother and a younger brother. So I have a younger brother. It's 13 months. We were just talking earlier, and he's 13 months younger. I have another brother who is 13 years older. He was just trying to call me. And then I've got a sister that's 14 years older. So it's like 2 different generations.
Yeah. You're really kind of an oldest.
Well, I'm an oldest middle child. And if you're a middle child, you're always trying to get attention.
Yeah, because they pay attention to the little baby
I never had a childhood because I got a kid, a rugrat right behind me. And then Dave and I were growing up in the household while my older siblings were going off to college.
Right.
And so I'm always trying to get attention, I guess. And I probably have ADD, HD, and
is that high definition ADD,
yeah.
ADDHD? Is that what that is?
I had stuff today that's being diagnosed that probably should have been diagnosed way back then.
Mm-hmm.
So
I can relate to that.
Do you know what I mean?
I do. Yeah. So, you know, we've known each other a little bit through real estate. You're a real estate agent with Parks, right?
Correct.
And so we've known each other a little bit through that, but we've really gotten to know each other a little bit better over the last probably year or so.
Yes, history stuff.
Yeah, I got involved with the Rutherford County Historical Society, and then you came and were on the Murfreesboro.com podcast with John and myself.
Loved it.
And then the other night, we had the pleasure of hanging out in the WGNS studio
downtown.
Yeah, it was super fun, and got to be on your radio show. So anyway, now it's just me and you, dude. So
I'm ready, man.
What are we going to talk about today?
Well, today's election day. Has everybody voted?
I voted early.
I voted early, and it's a lot easier. What's sad, I think we have somewhere around 200-something registered voters in this county.
Mm-hmm. Sounds about
right. Of a population of 330, 350, something like that. And I think right now, and we'll know more, I think by 7:30, 8 o'clock tonight, we'll know who the winners are.
Mm-hmm.
It happens that quick. There was only, I think you'll see not even 10% of those people voted.
I think you're right. And in all fairness, it's a primary. So, you know, not as many people typically show up for that as they do for the fall.
Right.
But here's the thing. This is an important election, don't you think?
Very important. You're voting locally. and I think mainly it is locally for us. You've got sheriff,
Mm-hmm.
you got circuit court clerk, county mayor, and then you got all the county commissioners,
Mm-hmm.
which pay for the budget of the sheriff and keeps this county going.
Schools and everything else.
Everything.
And really, if you really cook it down, the local elections, such as the one today, they're the ones that impact your daily life much more than the national elections.
That is not a better or a truer statement than what you just said. Is the local governments where we get our funding, I guess, from the state, which gets it's from the feds or whatever, from the federal government. I think that's how it works. Yeah, taxes. But Murfreesboro is such a great place to live. You're talking about people are moving here by the droves from California. I've had them. Now I have had people.
That was a quick look of despair on your face just now. Not really sure what that was. Well, there you went from California.
I was talking to John the other night at a function, and I think there's like 3,000 homes that investors own here in Rutherford County.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of attorneys out of Nashville. There's a lot of people from overseas that are buying. Everybody hears about Murfreesboro, Middle Tennessee. It's so attractive. People want to be here because of taxes, education, places to worship, recreation, you name it.
Well, and even with prices going up as they have, even with inflation, our cost of living index is sitting just a shade above 1.0.
It's moderate. Yeah.
So it's very, very affordable to live here compared to other places.
You'd rather have these problems than be in Detroit or somewhere else like that, where they're finding a job is a hard thing to do. Here, there are jobs out there.
Sure. Lots of them.
But I don't know. People don't want. I think I've done every type of job there is. In my lifetime, I've worked a chicken farm. I've worked, they called me a mass murder chicken. One time, I'll tell you the story. Bill Walker, if you're listening, his father was Dr. Joe Tom Walker. At one time, he passed away a few years ago. At one time, they had somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000 acres out in Beech Grove.
Oh, wow.
And we worked for Tyson Chicken. This is when Tyson came to town. This is probably 35 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And Bill had 2 chicken barns. There's 30,000 each one. I take that back. It's 15,000 each one for a total of 30,000 chickens.
And if you've never experienced a chicken barn,
have you been in one?
I certainly have, and it's not really a place I'd like to go back, to be honest.
It stinks. Well, here's the moral to the story.
It smells bad.
This was the back in my drinking days when I would party a lot and sleep till 1 or 2 o'clock and get up. Didn't have a watch, didn't care what time it was. We were out at Beech Grove at our farmhouse. Well, it was Dr. Walker's grandfather's house. We were living there at the time and running the farm, and Dr. Walker showed up and he was like, Bill, he reminded me of Frank Sinatra. He was a good man. He was a businessman. And when he spoke, he was a dentist by trade, but he was also a farmer, a developer. He was a conglomerate of different things.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, Bill, kind of like knocked the door and goes, Bill, there's beer cans out here. My father and his father were dirt farmers, and I'll be dadgum if you're going to have beer cans all over the front yard here. And there's buzzards flying above the chicken barns out here. And y'all need to get over to the chicken barns. Well, the house was about 2 miles away from where the other farm was. We're like, we had just gotten in probably a couple of hours ago.
Yeah.
So we hop on the 4-wheelers and get over there. And sure enough, we look up, and this was like a hot July day. There's buzzards.
That's not a good sign. We
open up the door, and when they bring chickens in, some of them they bring them in like a day old. They got shells on some of them got shells on their back.
Like a turtle?
Like a turtle. Well, it's the shell from the egg.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So, and if a chicken, animals too discriminate, because if there's a different colored chicken, they will peck it to death.
Really?
That's the truth. And Bill and I, well, let's get back to the story. So anyway, we opened up the door, and there was first of all, there was a stench, probably half a mile. You could just smell it.
Yeah.
And there's things I learned about chickens. First of all, chickens do not have sweat glands. They do not sweat. This is before automation, before you had a computer that could drop the curtains, turn the fans on. Okay. You had to manually go over there and do it. Well, we slept through our, we didn't do that.
So you were cooking the chicken.
Well, every chicken died. We lost 30,000 chickens. We lost the ones in this barn and this barn. And it was because they don't have sweat glands. We didn't turn on the fans. It was like a microwave.
You killed 30,000
I've been called
chickens?
a chicken mass murderer. Probably. We didn't mean to.
You're like the Jim Jones of chickens.
The Jim Jones of chickens. But
that is terrible. You let them just bake in there.
They baked in there. And after they've been there a while, their legs, they turn like green and blue. And you go to
how long had it been since you'd been in there?
Well, I think it was just a day or two. I mean, what?
But you don't really remember.
I don't remember. I was in a blackout. But here's the deal. Those buzzards were flying, and we got our bobcats out, and we did a size of 15,000 chickens, probably the size of 2 or 3 of these rooms. Right
yeah,
here.
It's a lot.
And this is before incinerators, so we poured kerosene on. The coyotes would come out at night and eat, other animals, so we had to pour kerosene on them. And when we lit it, there was a pillage of smoke. You could see the Chattanooga. I mean, I think it even made the news that smoke was. It wasn't a turned over tractor trailer rig.
And the price of chicken at Junior's went up $2 a pound.
Okay, let's get on something serious. So that's one of everybody wants to hear my chicken murderer story.
Yeah.
But we didn't do chickens after that.
I can imagine.
His dad laid us off and hired some other people to come take care of it.
How much does 30,000 chickens cost?
It probably cost 100,000 or so. I mean, it was
that's a lot of money, man.
Well, think about it. They bring the chicken a day or two old, and they'll stay in the chicken coop or the chicken house. They eat, they drink their water.
They don't sweat.
They don't sweat. 75 days, I think. 60 to 90 days, they'll bring a truckload, and they'll have all these people come in. They put socks right here, and they'll go and grab 10 chickens here, 10 chickens here, and they throw them down this. They're going to market. That's where they're going. The Riverducci. Tyson to KFC to wherever you want to go. But anyway, chickens are, they're kind of nasty, man.
Yeah, they are. They taste good though.
They do taste good.
They do taste good. So, all right. So let's talk about real estate for a minute.
Let's do.
So how long have you been a licensed agent?
22 years.
Man.
I helped when John Jones started his team. I wasn't there at the very beginning, but it was within like a year or so. John recruited me and I started there with his team.
Gotcha. Okay. And then you've gone to Parks. Is that the only 2 firms you've been at?
Man, I've been, you name it. I helped Keller Williams get started in 2004 or 5. Was on there. Is it the ALC?
That's right.
I was on there with all those good people. Great company. I've been at Prudential, Intero, and Parks.
Which one do you like the best?
Well, every one of us got good qualities. I like Parks just because it's like a big family. We have over close to 1,200 agents in Middle Tennessee. So if I do a listing, I just listed a church out of Halls Hill Pike. When I enter it on the MLS, it goes live. It goes out to, there's other agents, but our own company goes out to nearly 1,200 agents who get it just like that, which is cool.
That is cool.
Some of those agents, man, down in Green Hills and Bellmead, man, they're rolling in the money. I mean, I'm talking about really rolling in the money.
Sure.
But it seems like we have a lot of newer agents.
I would agree with that.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I teach at MTAR. I teach a contracts class during the new agent orientation.
Right.
And it's packed we do it 6 times a year. And it's, that room is full, 90 agents each time.
What did Candy say? I think I asked her the other day. We have around close to 23 to 2,500 agents, I think, in MTAR.
That sounds right. And it's 3 times that for Greater
GNR.
Nashville.
Yeah. And when I started in 2000, we may have had 800 agents. Maybe. I think it was like between 700 and 800. The interest rate was between 8 and 9%. We had a thing called the Buy Home, which was a magazine.
I remember that. I always picked it up as a teenager. I always picked it up outside of Cozumel Mexican restaurant in Smyrna.
And
that was
you,
my hangout.
was that your hangout?
Yep.
What, the margaritas? Is that it?
Not as a
As a
teenager.
teenager.
No. It was more about the tamales and the flan.
Has he been? How many rehabs have you been to? No, they but think about it. You would buy an ad. Marketing back then was you bought ads in paper.
Mm-hmm.
Buy a home, real estate guide. Real estate guide was like $600 a month. That's a lot of cheap. Yeah.
That's a lot.
One page, colored, glossy, not flossy, but glossy.
Not flossy. No.
And there was no websites. I mean, it was all look you in the eye.
Did you still have the big book?
No, I was there right after that. But there was a time we had to go to the office to get the key.
Mm-hmm.
And people carried around a big book of all the listings, and they changed all the time. I mean, not as much as it's changing now. I think I tell people all the time, you know, if you're wanting to sell your home, a lot of people say, I don't need an agent. And I'm not going to agree with that, because I think you do need an agent because of legalities, and you need representation.
Sure.
We all know, I know several times where people have not used agents, a good agent, and ended up litigation, or, you know, something bad happened.
Sure. I tell people that part of the job of the agent is to take the liability off your shoulders.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's a great point.
You know, if you do, my team will do 60 plus transactions a year.
That's awesome.
I personally do about 30
awesome.
a year. And, you know, do you want to have somebody on your side that does this literally every day, all day, you know, or do you want to kind of trust a YouTube video or whatever? I mean,
YouTube it. Yeah.
I mean, you can do it. You can. And sometimes it makes sense. You know, if you're selling to your cousin and you guys already have an agreed upon price, and, you know, Thanksgiving dinner is still going to taste fine if something goes sideways, then yeah, that's fine. Go for it. You know, get an attorney, draw it up and close. But man,
what about the inspection? What about the appraisal?
Exactly.
The only way it's good for everybody, you know, if it's cash, no inspection, no appraisal, just sign here. And it's gotten to the point where sellers can, and I'm not saying this, but literally sellers could fill out the contracts here. Do you
agree
meet my
this?
terms?
Yeah.
You sign here and we're done.
Yeah.
And
I saw that as a meme on Facebook where it just was a blank contract.
Yeah.
And they said, just fill it in. We're tired of making offers.
Right. But you know, everybody needs representation in a transaction. The buyers, the sellers.
And I would qualify that with saying everybody needs reliable, competent representation.
Not just and I'm not going to say there's good agents and there's better agents. I like the agents who are wanting to learn, the ones they'll ask questions. I'm no expert. I would say that the good thing I'm at, the good Lord blessed me with Gab. As far as negotiating, I'm pretty good at that. As far as keeping up with documents, Meredith, hey Meredith, my better half, my partner, Meredith Thomas, she keeps me in line. Y'all pray for her, okay?
So that's a full-time job right now, isn't it?
She gets compensated very well, but the thing is we're only good as our last. We can't rest on our laurels, our past accomplishments. It's the next deal that's going down. I love real estate. It's the art of the deal. I've sold trailers. I've sold $1 million homes. I sold $1 million home at an open house. Got both sides of it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I am talking about my laurels, right?
I know it. They're resting on them. I always get nervous trying to do two sides of the deal. I've gotten to the point now where I just don't do that.
You can start handing them out.
Yeah.
You can always give them to me if you want to.
I could, but my team would probably get pretty mad at me if I did that.
It's between us.
Yeah. Just, you know, it's just between us. Right.
Here.
It's a glass table, dude.
I can see right through it.
I'm right here too.
And Trent's on the team and he's right there.
I want to give my hand.
I know. Do we love Trent? Do we hit? Thank you.
I'm clap for my dang self today.
This guy's got it going on.
He's awesome, isn't he?
The first time I did spread the pot was over at Hopgood at the tech center.
Man,
you remember that?
We've come a long way, Bill.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You're doing great. Y'all are all doing great. Proud of you.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Just don't let that go to your head, all right?
Well, it already went to his head. It pushed all his hair out. Yeah.
Mr. Clean.
I got room to talk there. Oh, that's a new one. I like that.
Got a laugh track.
That's good. That's good. So all right. So let's do this. What's the craziest thing you've seen in real estate?
I'll tell you, in my whole Okay. I'll tell you about
Answer
it.
that however you want to
Okay. I
answer.
had a deal. This was in Cannon County. How many of y'all been to Cannon County? Good. I have a brother that lives up there. I always tell.
I try to stay out
Don't
of
tell anybody that's true. No, I'm just kidding. I love everybody in Woodbury, Gasaway, Auburn Town. So I used to get my moonshine. Anyway, I had a trailer. It was on Sunny Slope Road, and I had it listed. It was like 129.9 starter home. It was a decent trailer. Like I said, I've sold $1 million homes, trailers, you name it, land,
Sure.
you name it. So I think I listed it on a Monday, and it was a cash deal. I didn't have the buyer; another agent had it. We closed it on a Thursday or Friday, and the guy that closed it we had to go to Woodbury. The attorney typed it up on a typewriter.
When was this?
Like I can get the address, but it was like 2002, 3. I mean, it was 20 years ago.
Okay.
But he typed it up, and he looked at the buyer. Says, "Does this look good to you? Does this look good to you?" Signed off and like listed on Monday, sold it on a Tuesday.
So in 4 days.
Closed it in 4 days. Yeah.
I'm guessing they didn't.
And it was a
inspect it.
trailer. And back then, a lot of people didn't have 130,000 just laying around unless you just came into it or you're just independently wealthy.
Running moonshine.
Because running moonshine, ridge runners.
Right.
But the fact is, in those days, you couldn't get financing on a trailer. It had to be hunkered down.
Oh, it's still hard to get financing on a trailer. I mean, it's much harder than a stick built house.
Yeah. So it was a neat. I mean, to see somebody type up a settlement statement on a
That's crazy.
typewriter.
Yeah,
and say,
that's crazy.
Does this look good to you?
Quick question. Why is it harder for a trailer?
You want to take that answer?
Yeah.
I know the answer.
Well, it's there's a lot of things that could go wrong. Like, I guess with the wind could take it right out of the way. Right. It's harder to get. You tell me.
The biggest reason
I've been doing this for 22. I should.
I've only been doing it for 13. So the biggest reason is that basically a trailer is considered a vehicle. So
That's right.
If it's a single wide, you basically can't get regular financing on it. But if it's a double wide that has been attached to a permanent foundation,
Right.
it's been detitled. So a trailer actually has a title like a car.
Serial numbers on. I can tell you. Yeah.
There's a tag on both halves of the double wide. Or
Right.
three pieces of a triple. But if it's been detitled, it's been attached to a permanent foundation. You got to have an engineer come and look at the foundation. That is necessary. But if it's gone through all of that, then you can sell it. The problem is, or you can finance it. Let's put it that way. The problem is that you also usually have a stipulation that the land cannot, and I don't know the exact number, but it can't be more than, let's say, 2/3 of the total value of the transaction.
Right.
So the trailer still has to have enough value to take up a certain amount of the total cost of the property.
Right.
And it's so it's challenging to finance it. Now, you can pay cash for anything you want.
Sure. But there are a lot of people. Well, that's not true. I always say there's a lot of cash floating around these days.
There is.
From California, where they're selling 1,200 square feet for 800,000 or whatever.
But there's a lot of cash floating around here too, if you think about it. I saw a statistic not too long ago where the personal savings level hasn't been higher since like pre-Great Depression.
Right.
Like way pre-Great Depression. In other words, the debt to savings ratios, just in general in the U.S. And a lot of that is net worth, if you will.
Right.
And a lot of that is, we had 31% appreciation in Rutherford County last year.
Wow.
On real estate. That's a lot,
dude.
Right?
It's great.
So if you sell that house, all of a sudden you made a ton of money.
Capital gains. Yeah.
Well, maybe.
Or put it back, invest it somewhere else.
Yeah. So it just depends on what you do with it or how much you get. So, there are people now legitimately that could sell a place in Rutherford County and go and pay cash for a really nice, trailer on a piece of land.
Right.
And live kind of that dream.
And then develop it.
Sure.
Why not?
Or eventually build another house or chop off a piece for their kid later on or
exactly
whatever, right? Will it to
the
the
American
church.
Dream.
That's it.
That's what we're experiencing right now more than anything. And people want to be the doom and gloom. What's the flip side of that? And I think I go back to when you've got investors, there's nothing wrong with investing. But when you've got 3,000 homes that are owned by investors, That's what I would be
Well, get this.
afraid of.
Last year's transactions in Rutherford County, 2% of the entire pot of transactions were purchases by 2 companies. So of all the transactions in Rutherford County, 2% of them were accounted for by 2 companies. American Homes for Rent, Progress Residential.
That's right. And I've done deals with both of them.
Me too.
Let me ask you this. Here's a question for you. Do you say if you know you got a listing coming up and you know it's an investment opportunity for somebody, whether you buy it or somebody else, you keep those numbers. Do you call them and say, "Hey, I've got one coming up"?
No. And there's no need to, honestly, because they're gonna get you an offer anyway.
If they see it,
you know what I mean?
Right.
And they see all of them. I mean, we get I had a listing in Smyrna, I guess we're 2 months ago now, and we got 17 offers. 11 of them came from institutional buyers.
Right.
Only 6 came from owner occupants. How crazy is that?
That's nuts. I want to give a shout out to Guy and Becky Golf. We closed their house today over in Shawnee, and it took a while to do. It was like 6 months or so, but it was different circumstances. It all worked out.
Sure.
So shout out to them.
Yeah.
Thank you. Man, let me ask you this, and if you answer this, tell me you're not from here.
Well, I grew up in Smyrna. We moved here when I was 5.
Right. So you've seen it grow.
Oh, yeah.
I've always wondered, what would Rutherford County look like without Nissan? Don't even want to think about it.
Well, think about that.
Spin-off companies.
That's it. I mean, Nissan employs a good amount of people, but all the companies that support Nissan,
man,
even, I mean,
there wouldn't have been a Saturn if it went for Nissan.
No, there wouldn't be. I mean, there's so many. Think about even the businesses in Shelbyville.
Right.
You know what I mean? That supply and the logistics companies and I mean, just on and on
it's
and
like
on.
Its own little economy. I mean,
it is.
Economy. And they're like Old South. They employ a bunch of Old South. Your builders right.
But Old South may not have existed
without Nissan. Exactly.
Because who bought all the Old South houses?
The Nissan people.
There you go.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy. I just got chills, man. Let's not
do that. You've got family work at Nissan.
I don't, but I make a whole lot of a living off. Off of that.
I don't think that would ever. It's never gonna.
Never's a long time, man.
Yeah,
never's a long time. All right, I'm gonna shift gears on you again. I'm gonna try to keep those cats in line by just shifting. Okay.
Water. You got any water here?
You are quite the historical resource. I know you participate a lot in the Rutherford County Historical Society.
I sit on the board there 2 years in a row.
I have sat in coffee and conversation while you are essentially holding court in that room. And man, you're a hell of a storyteller, first of all.
Well, that means most of it's true.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. I'll
Bill
go with
Jakes
most of it.
is really the guy. I call Bill is a good friend of mine.
Well,
anyway, go ahead.
We got 3 Bills, right? Bill Jakes, Bill Shacklet, Bill Wilson.
Yeah, the 3 Bills.
The 3 Bill amigos.
Hiya.
Y'all need to get some sombreros or something like the 3 amigos.
I'll be the Martin Short one.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. So
lady,
I gotta ask you about this building that we're sitting in, because you said something the other night that I did not know.
Well, this was a mechanic shop, a part of Benford Motor Company, or maybe it was University Ford, but I was in high school. Dad was tired of paying for my bills. I always had charge accounts like at Pig and Parsons and Altman's.
So you were well dressed.
I was known for, in school, I was known for being well dressed, being a geek. Spaz was my nickname.
I believe that.
And I had fast cars and, women and all that stuff. But I was a nerd, dude. I'm still a nerd. There's nothing wrong with being a nerd. If you're happy inside your skin.
Yeah. I've been a nerd my whole life.
I'm a nerd, man.
And I didn't have women or fast cars. So I was like a real nerd.
I had a 65 Shelby.
Did you really?
I had a 51 orange 51 Chevy that Jimmy Lovern built right down in Lovern's Body Shop. There was a movie called W.W. and the Dixie Dance Queens, Burt Reynolds, Jerry Reed. It was made in Nashville in the 70s. This car was in that show, that movie. The first car I ever owned was an old 72 Ford pickup. I was playing basketball with my friends at my parents' house, and my dad drove up in it. It was Bondo, had rust. I mean, he goes, "Here, son, you've worked hard and threw it to me." And I was such a I think I started crying. I was like, no, I can't drive this. Well, I should have been grateful, but it was kind of a joke. But I did get a 51 Chevy. It was orange. It had a 350 Corvette engine. It had a Jaguar suspension on the front. It had a 411 pause rear end. It had the Hush. It was a Hearst or a Hush side pipes that went down on the ground.
Yeah.
So it'd give it lift. And it had a big tachometer right here. And Bill Walker, my buddy who I'm driving to the airport, he's flying out to Vegas later. He was my driver, man. I've been places where we would, from 0 to 90, you could put a tall boy on the pavement. And when he hit first gear, if you could grab that, or we put $100 bill on the dash.
Right.
And if you could grab that $100 bill, you could keep it. But it would lift. It had lift on it. And about 1983, 84 is when those brand new Corvette, the design of the Corvette changed.
Yeah, the curvy one.
Yeah,
right?
the curvy lower to the ground. But man, you know that thing would rise. It was like, and we would race. I've seen people race title for title. We'd race on Butler Road. We'd race out Midland Road. And I can remember one time we beat it was a car. They called their cars back then. They named them. It was called Mellow Yellow. And it had shoe polish in the windshield where they went down to Beach Bend and they raced it. We beat that car. Bill went to the Christian school. I was at Riverdale and they thought we tried to run them off the road. They ended up coming out they were wanting to, it was like West Side Story. Come on, you know. It was like West Side Story. They're friends of mine.
Jets?
No, I don't know what the Jets, but I don't know how we got on that. But anyway, yeah. Well, how did we go from that to the cars? But
I have no idea, man. This is so much fun.
Yeah, that there's a lot of history here, man. But I love history. I love it. I don't know.
But you
why.
worked here, right?
Oh yeah, I worked here. This is the building. My first job. I was not a mechanic because I'm not good with mechanics, but I'm good with a broom.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's
important. I was a janitor.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, Bill, could you go get us a coffee or go get us this? And
you're a gopher.
I was a gopher.
Yeah.
But my first job was in this building.
That's awesome. It looks a little different than it did then.
It's a lot cleaner.
Yeah. Maybe you weren't that good with the broom.
But look, man, this is nice, man.
Oh, man.
I've got a little carried away. Pardon me, y'all. Pardon me.
Now you sound like John the other night. After dark.
After dark. Hey, Michael Lynn.
Goodness. All right. What I'm gonna ask you this question. You've been here a long time. You've seen a lot of stuff come and go in Murfreesboro. A lot of different businesses, a lot of different restaurants, a lot of different all kinds of stuff. What's something that Murfreesboro doesn't have right now that it needs?
Something that Murfreesboro needs. Well, they're probably fixing to get it. A skate park is one. I've heard a lot about skate, but we talked about that the other night.
Did.
For the the youth. Blackman needs
you don't skateboard?
Man, I had a skateboard, but I think I didn't do it very long.
No, did you break
Too
it?
dangerous, man. Yeah.
Yeah. It's terrible.
But it was a plexiglass one that you could see through, and I thought that was cool. It was like
that would freak me out.
It was like skateboarding on glass.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it's plexiglass, it wasn't real glass. The Blackman folks want to park over there. I do know that. They're all tore up about that, and they have every right to be, because each quadrant has a nice. Smyrna's got a nice park.
Smyrna's got lots of nice parks. I'll be honest. I think Smyrna's kind of kicking Murfreesboro's butt in the parks department.
They do a great job down there.
And I love Murfreesboro. But
and Mark Adkins, they all do a great job down there.
They do.
Rogers Park, which you've never heard of, my grandfather Rogers donated around 10 acres to the city. If you go down Bradeville Road now, it's in the hood now.
That's okay.
That's where my mother still lives. She'll be 88 in August. Love her to death. But her dad, my grandfather, gave 10 acres to the city, and they've got a park over there at the end of Cypress. So you know what Cypress is.
I do.
They got pavilions, they got bathrooms, they got a soccer field, they have a little greenway, they got outdoor basketball courts with the chain nets, they've got tennis courts, and the play gym for kids. People need to go check that out. But we're blessed with parks.
We are.
But I think
and greenway system.
And greenways.
Yeah.
And I talked about this the other night, was the greenway system when Bart Gordon was the congressman. Originally, it was planned to have the Greenway go from Clarksville to Nashville to Murfreesboro.
Mm-hmm.
And it was going to follow Stones River, Percy Priest, the Cumberland, and it was going to follow that. If we had a map here, I'd show you where it was going to go. But I don't know if it's totally off. That was several years ago, but I think Clarksville's got a Greenway. Nashville's probably got I know we've got a great Greenway. Smyrna's got they're going to try to connect all those one day. I think that'd be cool.
I think
you could walk to Clarksville.
I could, but I could drive much faster.
Drive much faster.
Yeah, that's true. So what is it that we need besides a skate park? What business are we missing?
Well,
if there's an entrepreneur watching right now,
I've always been harping on, and it goes back to the medical field. I think we have a good hospital here, but we need another hospital. We're the fastest growing county in the state and like the top 10 in the country.
We're 2 hospitals.
Well, we need Vanderbilt. I know we got another Vanderbilt. I guess it's coming. We need competition because people like to have choices instead of just going to one. They're full of, let's go to this one. But the sports park is coming.
How exciting is that?
That's cool.
Yeah.
As far as anything else, I don't know. What do we need?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
The runway to be longer so we can have bigger jets come in. I don't know.
Smyrna's got that covered.
That
ain't
covered.
Gonna happen.
That was Seward Air Force Base.
And you're landlocked over there. Where would that runway go?
No, they'd have to move it. They'd have to shut it down or build a new one.
Right.
I don't know.
They just built a new one there, basically.
Yeah, they've upgraded it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. I don't know.
You know what I think we need?
What do we need?
And I'm going to go against what I just said to you. What I think we need is more support of our university.
More support of MTSU. I would totally agree with. That's a great point.
I think it's crazy that you don't even know that MTSU is here until you get within a mile of campus. Why don't businesses put the blue out? I mean, you get into Knox County and you know that UT is there.
Oh yeah, even outside Knox County.
Sure.
And yes, I think when I was a kid growing up, Murphy Center basketball night, it was a tradition. It was packed.
Yeah. And you had concerts there. You get all kinds of stuff going on.
I saw U2 there. I saw Bob Hope there. I saw Elvis there.
Yeah.
I was 9 years old. He gave me a scarf.
I saw New Kids on the Block
there. You did?
I did.
I saw Sid Vicious there, WWE.
That's pretty cool. I saw White Zombie there too.
White Zombie?
Yeah.
I saw Willie Nelson there.
You win. That's a good one.
The Judds.
Yeah.
Speaking of that was awful.
That is awful.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't know it, that she worked at Rutherford Hospital for several years as a nurse. She would complain about the drive up and down 96 when she would go home. I got to meet her and shake her hand. I mean, I hate that she died, but anyway, the whole thing of support of MTSU, I would totally agree with that. They need to. I don't know if it's the BRA Association, the Blue Raider Athletic Association. I know that's the key fellowship, not the fellowship, the key organization that supports, promotes. But there's got to be a community's got to adopt them better, or buy into it.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where I hear kind of both sides, right? If they would perform better, then we would go support them. Right. And then they do perform better and they don't go support them. Well, if you would show up, then maybe they would perform better. Like it's kind of that which one, right? Chicken or the egg kind of thing.
Chicken or the egg, right? And we've got a great team as far. I'm sorry.
Look, now the smoke is hanging in the air here.
So fun.
MTSU's right now. We've had several athletes from football. They've gone on to play in the NFL.
Kevin Byard's
I got to meet him last week at the First Shot get together.
His jersey's hanging in my closet.
He's a nice guy too. He and his wife are doing a lot for people in Nashville and in the area. So yes, I would totally agree that we need it. I graduated from MTSU. It took me 8 years.
Me too.
But mine was 8 straight.
Me too.
Was it really?
But I got a master's degree in it.
Mine was an undergraduate.
So my dad tells me all the time, there's lots of folks that go to school for 8 years. They're usually called doctors.
They wear they have a white coat. I was there, had a poli-sci degree with a minor in history and a minor in PE, believe it or not.
I am an entrepreneurship undergrad. That's what my degree is in, with a business management or administration. I can't remember, minor. And then I went and got a master's in business ed.
Awesome.
Yeah. I taught at Blackman High School for 3 years.
I did not know that.
True story.
What'd you teach?
Economics and business management.
Cool.
Yeah. And I taught a section of car stereo installation.
Did you really?
Yeah.
In high school?
Yeah.
Wow.
True story.
That's cool. I remember when I was in high school, I went to MTSU from 84. There was about 9,000 students.
Mm-hmm.
And when I graduated in 92, I think there may have been close to 15 to 18, something like that.
I started in 97 and there was just under 20 at that point. Yeah. Wow. It was like 19, somewhere around there. All right. Last thing. Tell me a joke. And this is a family show.
Is that family show? Let me think. I don't know if I have any G-rated.
Well, here I do want to say one.
Knock.
Who's there?
Gorilla.
Gorilla who?
Gorilla me a cheese sandwich. I'm hungry.
That's a good one. Hey, did you happen to hear about that kidnapping at Stewart's Creek?
No.
Yeah, that he woke up. Kidnapping. My son told me that one the other
day. You'd have people calling in here.
I know. My son told me that one. I thought that was pretty funny.
That is, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. Not that kidnapping is ever funny, but a kid napping is kind of funny.
Well, I was driving over to Publix, and at the corner of Bradeville and Rutherford, there was a huge Econoline van. Did I tell you that story? Had the flashers on. I called I'm the guy that calls just to make sure everybody's taken care of. I'm thinking about these sex traffickers and van. And I called and they go, "Who is this?" I was like, "It's Bill Wilson," and gave him my number. And I said, she kept asking questions. I was like, "Can't you just get somebody to go check on? All I want you to do is get somebody to check on the van."
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I didn't see anything in the D&J or the newspaper or y'all's Rutherford County breaking news or whatever. So I guess
it was all.
it was all okay. Yeah.
Maybe it just broke down.
Yeah, maybe it just broke down.
Ran out of gas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bill, always a pleasure, man.
Thank you, brother.
You are. I'm so happy to have gotten to know you a little bit better, and you're a fine, funny, wonderful human being.
Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate that, and I feel the same way about you and Trent, even John.
Yeah, I mean he's okay.
And let's go. Can I mention this? There's a Mr. Murfreesboro Day on Saturday, May 21st at the Tommy's Express Car Wash on 96, just past Toots.
Cool.
From 10 to 2, a portion of the proceeds when you get your car washed is going to go to a board that I sit on, a foundation. It's called the Rutherford County Recovery Court Foundation, to help addicts, to keep them out of jail, off the streets, get them back to being more productive, be a productive part of society. When they're sober and doing right, it saves all of us people money.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
we got a couple things coming up too. Trent, talk to us about was it the 17th? Is that right?
Yeah. So May 17th, 6 to 8:30ish potentially at Cedar Glade Brews.
Y'all better be out by 9.
Yeah, we'll be cleaned up and stuff. But we're doing a Murfreesboro podcast meetup and just kind of a STP podcast network spotlight, if you will. The guys from Two Bottles Deep will be out, and got a couple of other really cool folks that are doing some big things in the podcasting world.
When is that again?
The 17th,
Tuesday.
2 Tuesdays from today. But
cool.
Got to give a shout out to my new friend Brandon Hall with Music City 911.
I can't wait to hear from him,
dude. I've been hooked on his show. It's a dispatcher. He's been in Nashville doing 911 dispatching for over 20 years and has the craziest episodes. I've listened to a few, and they're always just, and his voice and just the whole production's really on point. So shouts to Brandon. He will be involved with the panel round table discussion, Two Bottles Deep, with Wes and Phillip. If y'all aren't familiar, please get familiar. That show is really amazing.
It's fantastic.
Definitely a great example of all things spread the positive and inclusion, love, acceptance, all the stuff. But And then I got my another new friend, Tom Golly, with To the Moon Creative. Man, he's the one that's helped with the reconfiguration of the studio.
Cool.
All
Beautiful.
the quality.
Golly.
He's never heard that one before.
How y'all doing?
Like I didn't say that to him.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I know. I sure did.
I was here for it.
Hi,
I think it was
Golly.
in a text message. Even. Anyway, but shouts to Tom. He's doing some big things in the podcasting world too. We're going to be working together, and y'all stay tuned. It's going to be cool. But 6 to 8, May 17th, 2 Tuesdays from now at Cedar Glade. Just kind of bringing together a lot of the people doing podcasting here in Murfreesboro and beyond. It's going to be cool. So shouts as always to Cedar Glade and the fam. So thank you, Jonathan, for putting that together and all that.
Love it. It's going to be a blast. Hey, and if you don't have plans for Thursday night, Cinco de Mayo turns to Cedar de Mayo, and we will be having a Cinco de Mayo party here at Cedar Glade. We've got Mission Tacos, which Alberto Villalobos and Melody Villalobos were guests on this podcast.
Cool.
And
we're gonna have real tacos.
Dude,
real tacos.
Real good tacos.
Like gourmet.
Yeah.
I love tacos.
Authentic.
He makes the best ones. So
Yeah.
come out, get some dinner.
Cedar de Mayo. That's so good.
Cedar de Mayo.
Yep. We'll release El Cedro, which is our Mexican lager.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's delicious. So come check it out. We'll be throwing down for Cinco de Mayo on Thursday. And other than that,
Bryan Nale.
we
love you. Thank you
man.
for everything.
Thank you, Brian.
Cool,
Appreciate
bye.
you.
Bill Wilson.
Hey.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so here's the deal. If you need a loan, call Bryan Nale. If you need to do real estate, call me. If you don't get me on the phone, then call Bill Wilson. Okay?
And then follow Mr. Murfreesboro. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
And listen.
TikTok.
Listen on
TikTok.
Do you
Sundays.
dance?
No doubt. Yeah, well, have you seen the videos that are going around? At the patrons?
No, I can't say that I have.
Well, the patrons party, John Jones took a video of me somehow. I don't know if it's me. I think he's superimposed. I'm gonna call him after the show.
like a jib jab card.
Yeah,
jib jab.
You and the guy from the Six Flags commercial.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Have a great rest of the week. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you.